Good morning, buenos días.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good
Buenos
morning.
días.
Buenos dias.
Buenos dias. Love seeing all the faces. Welcome.
Buenos días.
Give a few minutes for everyone to get kind of connected and settled, and then we'll get started shortly.
Right.
Oh, our video. Oh, someone's upside down.
That was funny.
A year later, this is the new norm. Great. Looks like
Things have changed for sure,
absolutely, absolutely,
but we're still here. So that's the good news, right?
absolutely. Lots of healthy faces on my screen, so that makes me happy.
Hola, buenos días.
Hola, buenos días.
Saludos.
Hola.
Well, good morning, everyone. I am going to ask you to mute your microphones as we get started into the formal conversation. We are not micromanaging your microphones. We're going to let you do that. I think we've learned that this last year, how to manage that, but we want to leave it open for the opportunity of question and answers during our panel conversation. I want to give you the freedom to log on. So good morning, happy Friday. I am Janice Contreras. I am the Executive Director of the Northeast Ohio Hispanic Center for Economic Development. It is an honor to do this today virtually. This is our 5th annual Construction Opportunity Fair. I see a lot of familiar faces and folks that have been with us throughout the last couple of years and continue to participate. And I see a lot of new faces. So welcome to our construction fair. This is not our ideal, right? Not the ideal way. We would have loved to have you guys in our big empty warehouse and had a big party and had some salsa music in the background. But we will make do with what we have. So thank you for your patience and your collaboration. This is our first stab at trying to do a construction fair virtually. So I will apologize in advance, although we have planned a pretty solid program for you this morning. Technology happens, right? So if something happens, here's my apologies ahead, but otherwise I feel pretty confident that my team has created a pretty robust quality event for you today. For the construction fair and just kind of what to expect, I know virtually I've gotten a lot of emails and questions on how is this really going to work? So I am going to try to explain it, and otherwise we're just going to, trust the process and go through it. But this is what you can expect today, right? So typically, again, we would be in a big room with all of your beautiful display tables and materials. The intent is really that the exhibitors are the opportunities. The exhibitors are project owners and primes that are looking for diverse subcontractors and are also looking for workforce in the construction area. And this is really where this event started, right? It was our desire to connect our construction entrepreneurs to where those opportunities were. And so again, the exhibitors, the folks that are the presenters, are really those folks that are trying to connect. The attendees or the participants, and many of you on here today, are either firm owners, subcontracting companies, or individuals looking for career pathways into construction. And so we've heard a lot in the construction industry. We hear a lot of, matchmaker fatigue because each individual project has their own matchmaking event. And so it could be very tedious and time consuming to run around and figure out where all of these are. And so our intent is that once a year, we're bringing them all to you. So instead of having to go to one matchmaking event, you have 40 different opportunities in one space. For our virtual format, you will have 20. So we have 20 partners that have signed on because they have an offering to the construction community. So definitely scaled back from regular, but still 20 in a virtual format. It's a lot to coordinate. So the first half of the session will be at 9:15. We are going to start a panel conversation. So this is more just the educational portion of what we're doing. And so you will hear from some amazing entrepreneurs who have been super successful in the construction industry. We'll start to wrap that up around 9:45. 9:45, we'll have some time for question and answer. And then obviously you can post your questions on the chat. And if we have time, we'll definitely do some live questions and you could engage with the panelists. At 10 o'clock is where the party really starts, right? So from 10 to 11 is really kind of like our opportunities hall. And so what will happen is that our presenters will already be in a room. So there'll be 1, 2, or 3 presenters per room. And participants will be assigned into the rooms. When you're in a room, the presenters, the partners, will have 5 minutes, at least 5 minutes. If there's less, you have a little bit more time. If there is less presenters in one room, you could have a little bit more time, but a minimum of 5 minutes just to talk about your organization and what is happening, what is going on, what is your offering, what is the coolest thing that's happening, and how you want to connect with individuals. Each round will last 20 minutes, and then rooms will switch. And then partners will repeat the same information to a new audience, a new group of people. And we will do that 3 times. Next week, we have a second portion of this. So one of our challenges was how much face time we're able to provide partners and participants. And so instead of having everything in one day and having a full day session today, which we know in the construction industry, attention span functions differently, right? We didn't want to do that. So next week is just part 2. We're repeating the same presenters. We'll be presenting the same information in the rooms. So obviously you'll have some time to select your rooms because we now have a list of partners and who's going to be in those rooms. It was a little challenging to do that on this first round. The panel conversation will change. Our panel discussion next week will focus more on career pathways. So we'll hear from individuals that have chosen construction as a career pathway and learn their journey and their story, as well as service providers like Tri-C and some of our other partners talk about career pathways opportunities in construction. So that is the overview of how the event will go today and next week. Obviously, any questions you have, you can share them with us. Our intention is really to help make connections on both ends, bringing our participants and our partners together to really create magic. The real magic happens when the fair is over, right? And our partners really being able to connect with our enterprises and our individuals. And so I encourage you to connect with folks beyond this. You will receive, all participants will receive a list of all of the partners that participated and their email, their main contact and email information. So please engage and say, hey, I was at the Hispanic fair, or whatever you want to call it, connect with them, as well as our partners at the end, after the 19th, you will get a list of the participants as well, so that you will also be able to do your own outreach and be able to contact them and really be able to connect in a meaningful way. So I hope that you find the program rewarding. We appreciate your feedback. I ask for patience again, but I think we will be just fine. Maria Sharp may have been the person that you have contacted in our office who's managing our registration and our technology. She is in the background, so if we need help, Maria is there. And then just a quick shout out to my team that you guys will see. Randy Cedeño, our director of the Small Business Development Center. You will hear from him shortly. Nick De Leon is our director of Community and Economic Development. Nick will be in and out today. We're moving furniture and a lot of exciting things happening in our office, but he will be around. Victor Cruz is our business advisor, bilingual business advisor. So he is also on the line, and I already talked about Maria. So I think that's it. I'm going to turn it over to Randy.
Buenos dias, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another Construction Opportunity Fair. We're so glad to have all of you with us. Thank you to our partners as well. I don't want to take too much time because we're a little behind. However, I do want to dispel something very quickly, and most of you guys already know this, but we have a humongous H in our name for Hispanic. That doesn't mean that we only work with Hispanics or Latinos. It just means that we have the capacity to work with people in Espanol, in English, or Spanglish, which should be a legitimate language at this point. So most of you guys know who we are in terms of the SBDC Small Business Development Center. We've worked with many of you, but just to remind you, we are a completely free service for anyone who is an entrepreneur or trying to start a business. Doesn't matter if you're pre-venture, doesn't matter if you're thinking about it, if you're starting, if you're already existing. We will help you out. And if we don't have the resource inside, I promise you, I guarantee you, we'll get you connected to that resource. If you need help with certifications, if you need help with QuickBooks, if you need help with so on and so forth, and all of you guys are business people, you guys know this. Feel free to follow up with us. You can follow us online. You can follow us on social media. We're literally on the heart of the Hispanic village, La Villa Hispana on West 25th and Clark. We're not really seeing anyone physically in the office, but you can definitely see all of our information on our windows as well. Just a quick update with our construction programming. We just had our capability statement last week. If you do not have a capability statement, if you don't know what a capability statement is, please call us today. This is extremely important for you, especially if you are in the construction world. A couple of things coming up, and let me get my list here so I don't miss this. Accounting for your construction business, March 24th. So if you need that, follow up with us. Social media marketing workshop, April 13th. We'll have a QuickBooks training May 18th, and our QuickBooks classes are usually booked very quickly. So we currently have a waiting list, so follow up with us if you want to get on that list. We have a Microsoft Office workshop as well. If you need some help in sharpening up your skills with Microsoft Office, if it's Word, if it's Excel, whatnot, we will have a workshop on June 8th. And we also have our business as unusual, which is the third Friday of every month. And we have a whole gamut of subjects that we cover there, and we have professionals from all over helping us out with that. So without further ado, I do want to say something en español. Para todos los que hablan español, si tienen un inglés limitado, si es algo que no, si hay algo que no entendieron, necesitan ayuda, lamentablemente en este formato no tengo la capacidad de poder traducirle. No obstante, por favor, deme seguimiento y le ayudaré lo más que pueda. Un correo electrónico, o nos pueden conseguir en las redes sociales o por nuestra plataforma online en nuhcet.org or hpccenter.org, sorry. Y le daremos la ayuda necesaria. Estamos un poco atrasados, así que no quiero tomar mucho tiempo. Pero si me necesitan, mi correo electrónico es rcdeno@hpcenter.org, o nos pueden llamar a la oficina 216-281-4422. Thank you all. Enjoy it. I hope you guys become trillionaires off of this. And so we're here for you guys. And without further ado, we'll start the show.
Gracias, Randy. That was your Spanish lesson for the day, guys. So really quickly, obviously with any event that we do as a nonprofit, we could not do this without the support of sponsors and partners that continuously commit to us. So Whiting Turner, Sherwin-Williams, Welty and Gilbane, Great Lakes Construction, thank you for your support of this event and your sponsorship. I see Mark, I see a few of my friends around there. So thank you, gracias, for taking on this adventure with us on the virtual platform. I know everybody's like, how is this gonna work and how are we gonna do it? We're doing it, and it's thanks to your support. Also Jasmine Dixon from ECDI and Glenn Shoemade from CEA, who have not always been partners, but they've also been part of helping us think through how this format would work, and have been participating in weekly meetings to help us coordinate, along with leveraging their networks to make sure that the program comes together. So thank you as well as all of the other participants that signed on and partners for this event. One quick kind of housekeeping. I don't need to tell you where the bathrooms are. I hope you know where those are. But I did want to tell you, if for whatever reason your screen name is not your screen name, this would be a good opportunity to change it. This is a professional networking opportunity, so I would be remiss if I didn't do kind of the school teacher of making sure that your screen name is your first and last name. If you have any questions on how to do that, make sure you connect with Maria offline, but I think you could just click on the 3 little dots on the upper right-hand corner of your image, and you should be able to change your name. Perfect. All right, so now we are going to get into our panel conversation. I don't think anything on my screen needs to change. So one of the things that we wanted to, as we started thinking about what type of content, right, we wanted to bring from an educational perspective to this dialogue. Oftentimes, we get a lot of like the regular mechanical stuff, right? Licensing and bonding and how to put bid packets together and, you know, how to do the right estimating and all of that construction knowledge, right? And technical expertise that we need to grow and scale. And that's all wonderful. We could do that all day long, right? But one of the things that I think sometimes we don't hear enough is hearing from our peers, hearing from the folks that are doing it, that have grown, that have faced significant challenges because they're a minority or because they're just in construction or because they're a woman or for the many reasons that we face barriers in the construction industry. And so what we wanted to do with today's panel is bring to you some folks that are well seasoned into their business, super successful in what they do, and then just have a real conversation about how they did it, what was their pathway into their success, and how can we learn from each other? How can we be a better support? As with many industries, construction is no different. We are all operating in silos. We all have more work than we have capacity to build. But what we don't have is the opportunity to talk to our peers about growth and strategy and tactics and politics and all of the things that come into this work, acknowledging it and really hearing on, hey, how do I get back by this? And again, today is really meant to be a day of connections, and we hope that you continue your engagement with each other on beyond our time, you know, our 2 hours today. So I want to introduce 3 of my colleagues, good friends. The first one is SB Madera from Allstate Builders, Arian Kirkpatrick from the AKA team, and Richard Levitz from Levitz and Associates. And so I'm going to give them each the opportunity to introduce themselves because they do a lot and are super amazing, and you're hearing enough from me. And then we'll get into our conversations. So maybe we'll go in order. We'll start with SB, then Arian, and then Richard.
Hello, good morning, everybody. My name is SB Madera. I am the owner of All Phase General Construction and All Phase Development Group and Madera Builders. I'm currently located in the Old Brooklyn neighborhood. That's where I reside at. My office is in the Metro West area too as well. I've been working in Cleveland for the last 17 years with my businesses. So I've networked with all these organizations. Appreciate the time and looking forward to meeting all of you.
Gracias, SB.
Good morning. I'm Arian Kirkpatrick, owner of the AKA team. We've been in the Cleveland area in business for over 10 years. I've been in construction for over 25 years. We are primarily commercial construction company, construction management, self-performance division, and commercial waterproofing.
Gracias, Arian. Richard, you're muted.
Okay, how about that? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm an architect by education, training, and profession. The name of my company is RK Levitz LLC, and certified as a 100% owned Hispanic minority business enterprise with the county, Cleveland, GCRTA, in the state of Ohio. And my journey into construction is probably unique in this group because I am an architect and a sole proprietor with a boutique business practice that focuses on tailored services for my clients, very often acting as an owner's representative, whereby on behalf of my clients, I hire architects, engineers, as well as construction services. Other of my services include master planning for both private clients and municipalities, building design with expertise in commercial exterior branding, and signage, graphics, and wayfinding for commercial, institutional, and healthcare clients. So I wear many hats that evolved and continue to fluctuate from the traditional role of architecture, being part of a design build team very often that are led by our contractors or developers, to also being an owner client. And I'm a member of the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce now, a trustee for over 20 years.
Gracias, Richard. Thank you so much. So jumping right in, I want to hear a little bit about your individual journey on why construction, why this field, why doing what you're doing. So maybe we'll start in the same order. SB, 2 minutes, Arian, and then Richard.
Okay, so I'm actually was born in Guatemala. My mother is Guatemalan and my father is Puerto Rican. We moved to Cleveland when I was 6 years old. So I went to Cleveland Public Schools, ended up at Max Hayes, taking the carpentry program when I was about 16, and really learned that I appreciated using my hands in construction. So onto that, when I was 19, I took a job working with a business as a cell phone salesman, and then worked there for about 6 years, but decided to go back into the construction. So when I was about 23, 24, went back to CMSD. They had a continuing education program, which was similar to an associate's degree for construction and building trades. Tri-C has that program now. Went and took that program. 2004, I started my first company, All Phase General Construction. I always wanted to be a company owner, so I, said I'm going to do my own company. Got out there and started just working in the field, working with people. Eventually, I realized I needed more experience, so I went and worked with a company for about a year and a half, Skilled Construction out of North Royalton. Got a lot of hands-on training, just learned, and just while I was there building my capacity, knowing what I really like to do. So from that time to now, I've evolved. It's a continuous educational journey, and these events actually are what make you or break you. It's not, you have to be at the right place at the right time. You have to know your capacity. So as far as working, I've always gone into another level, gotten a bigger job, but spaced myself out. Learn. You can't get into the bigger jobs until you're ready. You have to know your capacity. So, now I own a property portfolio. We're going into development now, going into new construction. I specialize actually in historical restoration. As many of you know, we're doing 2 big historical restorations in the area. And, that's where I'm at today, but it's been a basically almost a 20-year journey of continuous working and networking.
Excellent. Thank you, SB. And great shout out to the Max Hayes program and Tri-C, right? This is kind of what happens, right? When folks stick into these programs, and we build entrepreneurs and we build wealth right here in our neighborhood, in our community. So thank you for sharing your story, SB. Arian.
Okay. Well, I've been in construction formally for over 20 years, but actually started as a little girl. My dad had 2 daughters and no one in the house constructed anything. My first construction project was actually fixing a leak on our roof because I wasn't too scared to climb up there and put the shingles on. And every time we had construction, I would follow the construction folks around the house. My mom was not interested, nor was my dad interested. So I was the little construction guru around the house. I always knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. Grew up in an area, 100 in Cedar, that had many Black-owned businesses, a very proud community. So it was just a given to me that it was just natural. I wanted to own a company. Did not even think that I would own a construction company because it was my hobby. It was just something that I did. And to be honest, I did not see people that really looked like me that earned a living doing construction. And especially females. When I started my company, I did rehabs, residential rehabs, commercial rehabs for years. And in one of the buildings I was in, I found the Ohio Basic Building Code. It's OBC now, it used to be OBBC. And I found that in a house, and to me, it was like a Bible. It was the code and inspections for how to do commercial construction. And me, like a geek, I started reading it and got into this realm of construction, commercial, totally different. A lot of it's the same, but totally different as far as the processes and especially the way they handle the fundings of projects like this. So that's my journey, how I got here.
Gracias. Richard.
Okay, so I was born and raised in Colombia, South America, and moved here as a teenager. My dad actually had a small contracting business in outside of Newark, New Jersey, where I finished high school. And beyond that, I did choose to study architecture. So that was the basis of my career. I practiced architecture for about 10 years in the traditional way in the New York metro area. My journey brought me to Cleveland with my family. Having been already been more interested in the owner side of the business and contracting. But what I did want to let you know is that once I made the decision to go on my own, primarily as an owner's rep, the growth of my business was based on securing strategic partnerships with other professionals and construction companies in order to increase my work capacity and to get larger, more complex projects. So these partnerships developed ahead of time. I just didn't, oh, there's a project, let's hunt for someone. It was, way in advance, networking ahead of the opportunities. And very often these partnerships grew out of previous successful collaborations. My business grew particularly during my continued relationship with the local developer, Stark Enterprises, since 2001, working as a third-party consultant, primarily as an owner's rep and tenant coordinator at Crocker Park in Westlake, Eaton and Woodmere, and other properties in Akron and Canton. This last 20 years relationship just gave me access to dozens of other clients, tenants, banking, retail, restaurants for other projects in Northeast Ohio. And I just took advantage of one project feeding into the other.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Richard. And thank you, everyone. My next question, I'm just going to ask, broadly. So the three of you guys could choose. I heard Richard mention this in his address. But one of the things that we hear a lot of our small subcontractors is their challenges or kind of just their hesitancy with MBE, SBE, WBE certifications, and knowing that, multiple jurisdictions have different processes. Just wanted to hear what your experience is and kind of, what is your recommendation on how, as a small subcontracting firm, how you need to look at that. I know I see my friend from the county online and your other folks that are focused on certification. I know there's a bill that's up now currently around statewide certification and reciprocity. So there's just a lot of activity and conversations around certification. So just wanted to hear your experience, like, how have, and if so, how have you leveraged that into your success?
Janice, do you want any of us to go in?
Yeah, anyone. I mean, I feel like
I can, since I'm on the Hispanic Chamber and I'm a huge advocate of certificates, I can share, my experiences because I wasn't certified for a long time. My biggest challenge was the recession in 2008. If few of you may remember that, it was devastating to small businesses. I lost contracts. I had to renegotiate down a few that remained. At that point, I wasn't certified. And actually through my colleagues at the chamber, I began the process of getting certified. Through these certifications, I was able to open doors, in particular to a client I had never thought about, University Hospitals and Metro Health. And that, turned out that gave me in the last 10 years opportunities with UH, which started with small contracts, just doing signage and wayfinding, and then to becoming the affiliate architect and programming schematic design for the UH Rainbow Center for Women and Children. So I think it's more of a mental challenge because, oh my God, bureaucracy, what do I do here? And you have to do it every year. But, with the help of the chamber or any of the specific entities, just go through the process, get all your documents together, get your tax paper together, and get certified, because it will, I assure you, will open doors. And once you do one of them, I actually started with the county. Once I got that one done, I was able to take some of those documents and get them through the GCRTA and the city, and then with the state of Ohio.
Excellent. That was great. Next question, and I'm going to start with Arian. Oh, make sure I wasn't muted. I'll start with Arian and then maybe SB. What has been like your biggest breakthrough so far in your business development? Like, what do you feel has been like the biggest win or your biggest like milestone that you're just like, okay, yes, this is it. And
I've been really strategic, and I'm a continuous learner. So what has been important to me is to not only learn myself, but to make sure that my team is learning and that they're included in all of the in everything that we're doing. Because it just can't just be you. One of the things that we do know about minority-owned businesses is most of them are solopreneurs. Even in construction, they're solopreneurs, and many times we're 1099, which was my business before, 1099. And I realized later when I added people on my payroll, they had more of allegiance to the whole team process, the whole company. So I think when I started building a team, and I purposely named my team, that was what helped me become grow with my success. Because it was buy-in. We're doing this together. I had 3 different construction companies, and by far the AKA team has been the most successful. And it's just because I've been strategic as far as my professional services, my team members on the outside, my legal, my accounting, marketing, and then my team on the inside. I have project managers, project engineers, have a great HR department, great marketing department. I made sure that I filled those holes. So I think by me building the infrastructure of my company has attributed to my success.
excellent. Thank you, Arian. SB.
Yeah, so I think my biggest breakthrough yet, I don't think I've had my biggest breakthrough yet. I'm still building it up. But as far as just, continue, for me, I try to have a breakthrough at least weekly, something better, between the people that work for me, my team, the subcontractors, networking with new clients, continually building. There's challenges that come up daily, learning how to handle those challenges and my capacity to do it. I think that's my biggest breakthrough. Knowing how to handle challenges that come up that are pertaining either to scheduling, to work scope, or to capacity, being able to bring in 3 teams opposed to 1 team when you bid it as 1 team, but then you bring in 3 teams, you finish under budget, you finish under schedule. Those are breakthroughs to me, so, just perfecting my trade and what I really enjoy doing. Because once you get to a certain point, it doesn't feel like a job. It almost feels like it's almost like an adventure. It's not a job, So if I can say anything to the entrepreneurs out there, just don't do it just for the money. You'll be like blinded. Do it because you want to do it, because you enjoy doing it, and try to be perfect at what you do and know what you want to do.
Thank you. SB, while you're at it, like what do you feel have been maybe some blind spots in the industry that you've had to learn? Like things that, maybe weren't super intuitive or natural, like things that you're like, oh, okay, I got to figure this out. Any blind spots or anything that, has created a challenge or a barrier that you needed to sort through?
I mean, for me, well, I say originally, my blind spots were probably like just the certifications, like how you said certifications, knowing the different entities you can go and solicit work from, my marketing, who do I want to work for and who don't I want to work for? This all has to do with me, and my company, what we decide to do, which direction we choose to go. So I had to learn my company and my organization and the people that are involved with me, what are their specialties? What can we capitalize off of? Because there's work everywhere. You can go to just about any entity, you know, the county, the city, CMHA, you know, there's just so many different entities you can solicit work from. But the real question is what is the specialty with, you know, you and your guys and whoever decides to work with you. So building that capacity and knowing the sweet spots and then being able to navigate. At the beginning, you had to have different certifications for CMHA than the city. The city of Cleveland requires you to have the lead insurance and training and even asbestos if you're doing type of, you know, commercial work, all this certification, and then the SBE, the Section 3 certifications, all these certifications that you had. So originally it was like, you know, get in the office, work together and learning the ropes with keeping up with all the paperwork, you know, documenting everything, saving everything for 3 to 5 years once you're doing a certain type of projects. And it's just a lot. So that was my original difficulty with my company. But once everything became, you know, automated, then it's just a matter of choosing the work that I wanted to do.
Excellent, excellent. Arian, blind spots or hurdles that you've had to conquer and how you got through that.
So, just like SB said, the certifications can be monstrous. And I have a love-hate relationship with certifications. It's something that we need, which is interesting because we have to have a certification because we want to hire more minorities and females. So you have this certification to do that. But the reason that we have it is because people don't want to hire minorities and females. So it's like it's really truly a love-hate thing. I remember doing an article with the Plain Dealer years ago. You don't want to get yourself pigeonholed because before being a construction company, you're an MBE or FBE. And we actually have careers and we have experience in what we're doing, which the construction or the architecture comes first. But then once you become pigeonholed and you have this adjective that defines who you are, where I'm a very proud Black woman, I don't know, that doesn't describe how good I'm in my construction processes, how great I am in my estimating, how good I am in my commercial waterproofing. It just, that ingredient doesn't go there, but I know we need it. So I'm always, okay, how do we do it? But then sometimes what happens is some people take advantage of it and they're not building their trades and they try to create different opportunities for you. Like, just because I have my MBE, I don't want to be a plumbing contractor. That's not my thing. Don't use me. Don't let people use your certification to take you out of what you do well. And I have seen that so much. It's just so unfortunate. So that's a total blind spot. That's unfortunate. Then you have the fraudulent company. So I know why we have to do it, but golly, man, it's a lot of paperwork too. I mean, you have to have sometimes, if you don't have assistants, like Richard said, of the different agencies to help you, we hired someone in our office on my payroll specifically, and that's what they do for the 20 different certifications that we have. 20.
Thank you, Arian. Definitely real talk. I know that we have a lot of our certifying partners on this event today. So thank you and continue your advocacy on less paperwork, simplification, reciprocity between jurisdictions, all of those things that help our folks be more successful and get rid of some of that bureaucracy that can make it or break it, right? Not everybody can hire somebody just to do that, or it took a long time for you to even build to be able to do that. I'm sure you did it by yourself plenty of times in the copy machine, putting these together. So thank you for that. I'm going to start to wrap up because I want to give some time, but just want to ask the three panelists really quickly, and maybe Arian, you could start since you're still on here. What is your greatest advice, like your one lesson learned that could help folks sitting behind the screen today in their growth and their journey in this field?
Interesting. One of the things that really helped me grow was looking at some of the larger bigger companies pre-qualification. So what happens, especially with minority-owned businesses, we tend not to like people to get into our business. I'm just gonna keep it real, because sometimes we have to strategically do things that, and I won't tell all our private business of how we sometimes have to do things, but that's real. So take a pre-qualification, answer it for yourself, and know that these are the next moves I need to make. I remember going to Cleveland Clinic one time, and they were like, "Oh, we don't. If you pour driveways or you do sidewalks and stuff, you're in the wrong room." And when they said it, I was like, "Wow!" And they said, "Because this is the type of construction we do," and it was almost so pristine. And I was like, okay." And I looked at the pre-qual. I said, "I'm not ready now, but I'm going to answer all these questions and get ready." So make sure you're ready and you do your homework and you understand, and do not be afraid to apply and go after those jobs. You never know what happens, because other folks, they ask for considerations to be made, and we can too.
Excellent. Thank you. That's great advice. Richard?
Hi. So by the way, I'm on a team with Arian, with the county, the COVID challenge project. So that's an example of strategic partnerships. So wanted to share this with the team, with everybody. But my advice would be, I would say, get your education, learn. It's a life endeavor. You are always learning. If you're a new business, you really need to put together a business plan with financing and anticipating getting insurance and bonding. This is where the Hispanic Chamber can be really helpful, because they have folks that on staff that will help you through that process, and have banking connections. And start calling on your network of prospective clients and stay in touch. I mean, I have so many other advice on this in terms of, the cliche, there's no substitution for hard work. Know your numbers, your schedule. If you're really way into construction, make sure you have a really great superintendent. That's critical. I've been very lucky to work with the genius superintendents who I learn a lot from. And most important, you're working with human beings, always be very respectful with your team.
Excellent. Great advice. SB?
I guess the best advice I'd have for a starting entrepreneur is be ambitious, but also be humble. I think if you're humble, you're open to learning. You learn from clients, you learn from employees, you learn from everybody. And then, it's a continual, you have to be mentored in order to grow, but you also have to pass it on in order to keep growing, so mentor people that are beginning before you, and that's, I've tried to stick to that. There's a lot of people that have started companies that have worked for me. Which in return, they'll come to me for help. And then eventually, I'll meet bigger organizations where I meet their, directors or CEOs, and they take the time out to have lunch with me and give me pointers on what I should do as far as growing. So, give it back when you receive it. I guess that's probably the biggest advice I have for people.
Excellent. Thank you so much. So we're gonna get your questions ready. We will let you do a live one. We have about 10 minutes. So you could put your question on the chat, or I will allow some time, but I want to thank SB and Arian and Richard for sharing your knowledge, dropping some knowledge and some truth with us this morning on your journey and what works. I heard a lot of themes that you guys brought up around advice, around what works, around what doesn't, knowing your business, being good at your business in order to move forward, investing in your team. Arian drilled that very big, like make sure you surround yourself by the people that can help you be successful. Be good, be passionate, right? This is not about the money. This is more so about a passion and growth, and the money will lead into that. Establish a specialty. Don't let folks take you out of what you're good at. Like really put your arms around what those specialties are and rock with it. Building capacity, right? over time. I loved, Arian, I liked your idea of the pre-qualifications and use that as your checklist. Like, that's great advice on what is it that you need to be ready. Maybe you're not ready today, maybe you're not going to be ready next month, but you start to build that aspiration of what you need to do to be there and get there, and you will surely get that. And then lastly, mentorship. And I saw a question on mentorship. And Richard, thanks for the shout outs. Obviously here, as Randy mentioned early on with our Small Business Development Center, we are here to help you in your growth and in your development. But Northeast Ohio is fortunate to have lots of small business development partners that are all invested in your success and purely in your success. That is our success. So we have my colleagues from MBAC, the folks from the county, RTA, sewer district. I mean, there's a ton of people that are committed to your growth and development. So lots of opportunities around that. So I am gonna look on here and see if there's any question. For our audience, or if anybody wants to jump in, if there's any questions, I think you could raise your hand and we could give you some time with our panelists. So you could unmute yourself and jump in. Everybody's quiet. I hear a microphone, maybe. Preguntas. God, they covered it all. Good. So we're at 9:53. Go ahead. 9:53. Feel free still if there's any questions or anything specific that you would like of the panelists to go on there. As I said, you'll receive contact information so that you could connect and reach out. Sorry, we're doing multiple things. Again,
I thought I saw a question, but I can't find it. Someone asked about mentoring. Do we do mentoring? Yes, I do. I'm very open. Reach out. Anyone can call me anytime, and we get on the schedule. And typically, I take an hour with someone, and we'll sit and have breakfast, or we'll have lunch. Or right now, we're virtually doing it and share some ideas. So, most definitely.
Yes.
And oh, it must have been George. So I will send my information. Let me figure out how to do that. Okay.
Yeah, and you will, just for all of the participants or the folks that are joining us, you will get, once we conclude, you will get a program listing of all the participants with contact information and email. So definitely feel free to leverage the chat, but you would get that as a follow-up to this. This event is also being recorded, so you could always go back, but you will get a program that has all of the partner information, panelists, along with contact information. And we actually encourage you to connect. Our time today will be limited, but definitely want to encourage you to connect with the partners that you will meet today and make things happen, make money, get those contracts, and tell us about it, right? Let us know what worked, who you connected with. That is really the purpose. There's also a lot of resource partners, as I already mentioned, all of my partners around certification, around access to capital, around government funding, as well as government contracting. So just a wealth of resources. And obviously our Small Business Development Center is here always to help with that process. Great. So I think this is a great segue. Again, SB, Arian, Richard, I'm going to do my little clappy. Thank you for, again, sharing with us this morning a little bit of your knowledge and growth. And we are all super proud of you. So thank you. So now I will explain what will happen in the next hour. Again, this is the second half of today's program, in which we will be put into breakout rooms. So basically our partners will be in a room and we will be joining as participants, in which they will share information about their services, programs, or any upcoming opportunities, bidding opportunities that they have available. You will be in a room for 20 minutes and then you will be switched to another room. We have 3 rounds of rooms, and then we'll come back to this main room 10 minutes before the program concludes. So I encourage you to participate in the remainder of the program. Next week, we will be doing the same thing. So you have the opportunity to participate in 3 additional rooms with a different panel discussion around career pathways. So what are career pathways into construction, as well as some knowledge or guidance from individuals who have made career their passion and their career path moving forward. So we hope that this isn't intended to be like, oh, I attended one, I don't need to attend the other. It's really a 2-part. So really the 2 parts together complete our construction fair. So I think without further ado, are there any questions or comments before we go into breakout rooms? Everybody good? Good. Maria, are we good to go on breakouts?
Yeah, I just want to give some background information for you guys. So I'll be sending out a couple notifications, when there's, 5 minutes left, when the room is about to close. And then when the room is closing, you will see people shift around. So, and then I'll send another notification when you guys can begin again.
Awesome. Great. I'll see you guys in the breakout room. Sit tight and Maria will break us up in a minute. There is coming back.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Hello.
Welcome, welcome.
Hey, Carl, good to see you, my friend.
Hi.
You too.
It was quite,
This was, Janice, this was wonderful.
Good, we pulled it off.
yeah, it really was. I agree. It's been like, it was like being on a spaceship going from
You look like you're in a spaceship without that glass behind you. You
Well, we
have
had
all the
fun.
elephants behind you.
We had a lot of fun, Janice. It was a lot of fun. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vaughn. Thank you for participating, and thank you for your patience. As I said, this has been a year of learning and trying to figure out how we could still deliver content and resources to the community in this new virtual environment. So we are all in the spaceship or journey together, Mark. We are all figuring it out.
Yeah.
Thank you to everyone that participated today, all of the presenters and the attendees. Hope you made some good connections and got some good content. Thanks again to our friends at Wedding Turner, Sherwin Williams, Welty, and Gilbane, Great Lakes Construction. Jackie, I saw you around there at some point. So thank you for your continuous support. Jasmine Dixon and Glenn, thank you for all your help in coordinating this. As I mentioned, next week is just the second half. So it's not intended, again, these are not intended to be just one event. You went to one event, you don't go to the other. It's intended to be, this is part one, part two. So we will join the party again next week. Our education, our panel discussion will be more about pathways in career versus today that was more focused in firms and enterprise, but still wanted to keep the element of the workforce portion of it. We know that our enterprises cannot be successful without solid workforce, and we know the challenges in workforce and construction, but as well as the opportunities. We're hearing Esby's story on how he went through Max Hayes and then went through Tri-C and then built his career in construction with just developing that he was really good with his hands into construction was really inspirational for me, and just hearing people's pathways. So thank you for your time, for your trust and commitment. And we will see you again next Friday. Have a great weekend. And actually, we're going to open up registration. So if people missed part one, they will still be able to participate in part two. So registration will open again next week, and then folks can participate in that so that we can maximize the participants that we're getting in front of our presenters. So have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Great job. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye, thank